Hello, prospective DeGroote students and parents. Welcome to our virtual May at Mac. I am Sue McCracken, the Associate Dean Academic here at the DeGroote School of Business, and I'm excited that you'll be joining us for our first virtual May at Mac. We wish we could be meeting with you in person. Hello, so we could show you our beautiful campus. Welcome. And you could meet directly with our amazing students, faculty, and staff. But unfortunately, that is not possible. But not to worry, we have some great presentations and opportunities for you to get to know DeGroote better. Our goal is to share with you what DeGroote is, what we stand for, and why DeGroote is the place for you. When you choose DeGroote, you are joining the DeGroote family. DeGroote is a community that supports each other. You will quickly find out that our upper year students are the best and will guide you on how to succeed and also have fun at DeGroote, and that our fantastic staff and faculty are here to support you and ensure that you're getting the best education and experience possible. You will also learn that by joining DeGroote, you are joining a culture that prides itself on innovation, collaboration, and generosity. We take great pride in knowing that our students work together and collaborate with one another. We routinely hear our students say that their favorite part of being a DeGroote student is the spirit of teamwork that flows through their student life. We also encourage our students to be as involved as possible. Join a club or committee or intramurals, whatever is your interest. We also encourage you to interact with our staff and faculty. The more you put into your time at DeGroote, the more you will get out of it. If you choose DeGroote, you'll be pushed to think big and be curious and determine your passion. We will guide and support you to become a strong business leader that cares about the world and others. You'll become a member of our amazing network of students and alumni that spans the globe. We look forward to getting to know you and you getting to know us. We really hope you enjoy your May at Mac.
Hello and welcome. My name is Greg Rombo. I'm the manager of our undergraduate programs here at the DeGroote School of Business. I'm very happy to be able to speak with you today through this recorded presentation. I'll be live afterwards to answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to talk to you today about what differentiates DeGroote, as well as what the program looks like and the different opportunities available to students. As well, I have two speakers with me. We have Sarah Liou, who's going to speak about her experience as an internship student and what that process looked like, as well as one of our esteemed student leaders, Joel McPherson, who will be talking about student life here at the DeGroote School of Business. Both of them will also be available afterwards to answer any questions you might have. So let's get started. So when I'm asked to differentiate the DeGroote School of Business and why it might be a good fit for you, I often come back to three things. And those things are the reputation of the school and the university as a whole, the different opportunities and options and flexibility within the program. So you're able to really get what you want and design the experience that is going to be most meaningful for you. And then finally, the community and culture here at DeGroote, which is quite wonderful. And I think really what is really going to differentiate your experience. So first, with regards to quality and reputation, I'm very pleased to share that McMaster has once again been named one of the top 100 universities in the world. This is by the Times Higher Education. We were also named as one of the top 100 for employment outcomes for our graduates, also by the Times Higher Education. And this was based on a survey of global industry. Within last year, we were also named in Maclean's as one of the top 3 schools in Ontario for student experience and student satisfaction. So when you put this all together, it's a quality education with strong employment outcomes and a very positive student experience. In addition to our rankings, DeGroote also has several accreditations and certifications. So DeGroote is accredited by the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business, which is a global business school accrediting body. Only 5% of schools across the world have this accreditation. We are also certified by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario to offer coursework for students pursuing their CPA accounting designation. We are certified by the Human Resource Professional Association to offer the coursework for students pursuing their CHRP designation. We're also recognized by the CFA Institute for offering courses for students that are preparing for their Chartered Financial Analyst exams. So these accreditations and certifications are not easy to achieve and are renewed on a very regular basis. During these recertifications, we are subject to external reviews where our course content, instructor to student ratios, professional exam scores, and other measures are reviewed to ensure that we are best preparing our students for careers in business and specific sectors. So the program structure presents a lot of different opportunities and flexibility for students. Within 4 years, our students are pursuing their honors Bachelor of Commerce, and it's a very general degree. So it's not a Bachelor of Accounting, it's not a Bachelor of Marketing. So it's a degree where students are getting a background in each of the different functional areas of business, and then focusing in their upper years on a particular discipline, should they choose, using their elective work. Within 4 years, students have the ability to complete their degree, as well as to complete coursework towards one of the professional designations that we've mentioned before, which I think is wonderful. So I myself, as a DeGroote student, I did my MBA and CPA as a combined program. And it wasn't that I necessarily came in with the intention of doing an accounting designation, but the way it was presented to me, and I'll share with you, is the opportunity to do coursework that counted both towards my degree as well as my designation. So I didn't have that burning desire necessarily to do accounting, but I thought it was a really wonderful opportunity. So similarly, students can do their courses, which are bringing them towards their degree, but will also count towards their CHRP designation or prepare them to write their CFA. So that's a great opportunity to work towards those professional designations. Also within 4 years, students can participate in one of our exchanges. So exchange typically happens during your third year, and that gives you the opportunity for either 1 or 2 terms to study abroad and have your credits count towards your McMaster degree. I'll talk a little bit more about exchange later in the presentation. So what can you accomplish in 5 years? So similar to the 4 years, you're still able to work towards your degree, minors, designations, and complete an exchange. But within 5 years, you also have the opportunity to enter into our Commerce Internship program. This is an academic program that has work experience as one of the requirements for the program. It occurs after you've done 3 academic years, then you do your work placement for 12 to 16 months, and then return for your final academic year, and then graduate. So there's a great deal of support on campus. We have a designated career team within the School of Business that works with you to help you build your networking and interviewing skills, and to work with you while you're actually on the placement to make sure that you're supported. I'm going to ask Sarah to speak to this shortly, and I'll touch on it a little bit later in the presentation as well. So I imagine you're a little bit surprised to be talking about what 6 years at McMaster might look like, but I do want to highlight one opportunity. So this is for students who have completed their degree and done 1 year of work experience through our internship program. They have the ability to complete then a accelerated MBA. So that's just 8 months to finish your MBA. So I think that's a really wonderful opportunity, again, to layer these opportunities upon each other. And I do, again, just as a thought exercise, just imagine going to your first job interview and talking about how you had come to McMaster for 2 years and studied business. You spent your third year on exchange in Singapore, returned to complete an internship at Pepsi or GE, finished your final year, and graduated with your degree, and 90% of your work towards your CPA completed, and then finished your MBA, and maybe you even minored in French along the way. All that before your 23rd birthday. So I think that'd be a pretty compelling interview. So again, these are just some of the opportunities, and I do want to highlight them as opportunities because these aren't necessarily required. And often when I do this presentation live, I have people come afterwards and ask how they register for the MBA stream. And there's not an MBA stream. What it is just, it's an opportunity available to you after you've graduated your degree. If you have that work experience, or if you get that work experience subsequent. Again, exchange is completely optional. And that's something you can consider doing in your second. So consider applying for in your second year to travel in your third year. Similarly with our internship program, you decide after your second year if you want to apply. So these are all opportunities that are available, but it allows you to come and really get your feet underneath you to understand sort of what the different opportunities are. When I talk to students who have come to McMaster, one of the things that really attracted them was this ability to really sort of get a sense of what's available and learn about the school, learn about the opportunities, and even learning about themselves to decide what really makes sense for them. So I'll speak in a moment about what the program looks like, just how we sequence our courses. But another piece around the flexibility is in the upper years, you'll see that you do have a lot of electives. But these come after you've done your first 2 years where you're getting exposure to each of the different functional areas. So when I talk to students and ask them really, our current students, what attracted them to McMaster, they really appreciated the ability for them to come in to do 1 or 2 years to, again, get the lay of the land, take some courses, understand what was really interesting to them, and then in their upper years decide that they want to focus in a particular area. So looking at the program structure, you'll notice a few things. So one, in your first 2 years, your commerce courses are set. So you are getting exposure to each of the different areas of business. This is where you're learning the technical skills for each of these different areas. And this gives you the ability to really get a sense of what it is that's of interest to you and where your skills are. You do have electives in your first 2 years, but those electives are coming typically or mostly from outside of the faculty. You do have one elective in your second year, newly added, where you'll be able to choose a business course. But for the most part, your electives are outside of the faculty. Each year, we do require students to take courses outside of the faculty. We do want you to become a very well-rounded and unique person. So allowing you to really get out and learn for the sake of learning and really what is of interest to you, but also augmenting your studies. So you might consider taking some psychology courses to augment your marketing studies, or some mathematics courses to augment your finance, maybe even some history courses if you want to learn some what works and what doesn't work from a strategy perspective. But really great opportunities for you to get out. We want students to, again, to really build that education that's going to be most meaningful to them. And again, going back to the quality of the institution, it's great that you're able to go and take these courses in biology and languages and have that certainty that this is, again, a quality education. And you'll often actually find yourselves in your classes within business, taking classes with students from engineering and humanities, which I think really enriches the experience to have those different perspectives and backgrounds in the classroom together. So you'll see in your first 2 years, again, you're getting all of these sort of intros to marketing and intros to HR to get those foundational technical skills. In your third and fourth year is where you get a little bit more integrative and sort of pulling from those different areas, and those are your required courses. So in your second year, you have the 2 required courses for both the third and fourth year, which again is more integrative and looking across the entire business. And I remember this distinction. So I worked at BlackBerry previously, and within BlackBerry we talked about those people that are the Excel people, and then the PowerPoint people. And the Excel people are the highly technical people that are able to take those numbers and crunch those numbers and work independently and come back with that one number. And then the PowerPoint people are the people that are able to sort of look across the different areas of the business to ask the right questions to get those one numbers from each department, to put that together and sort of create a narrative and help drive decision making for the business. So we want our students to be leaders. And again, thinking about leaders as doing the right things versus doing things right. It's important that they have that background across the different functional areas to do those technical skills, but then again, to be able to step back or step up and be able to understand how they all play and integrate together. And then finally, in your fourth year, is looking at the entity in a competitive landscape. So looking outside of the business to where the business sits in an international perspective or within a policy and government perspective. So how does the institution, or how does the business operate in that global landscape, in that broader landscape? And then finally, the other thing to highlight is these new GROW courses. So these are the GRO. So you'll see that you have three 0-unit courses in your first 3 years, and there's a 3-unit capstone course in your 4th year. So these have been developed and are currently being developed. So you are the first class that is actually going to be participating in these. We've remade some courses to really create the opportunities to engage with students from the administration and from the staff perspective and faculty perspective to augment what you're learning in classes, but to best prepare you to be successful in those classes. So these are opportunities that it's going to be a very experiential series of courses where students are participating in something, for example, the 24-hour case, which we've introduced 2 years ago, where students are put into teams working on a case for a 24-hour period and then presenting to a panel of judges, often alumni and faculty. But some of these more experiential activities, activities that, again, they're going to augment your learning within the classroom. One of the key differentiators about DeGroote is our student life and our student community. And that's a word you'll hear a lot in talking to students and faculty. McMaster is really wonderful. It's a medium-sized school, which is big enough to offer you every opportunity, but small enough to actually have that community and family feel. The word family comes up quite a bit when talking about DeGroote. We do a lot of group work within the program. Then there's this idea of just winning together. So it's not an enormously competitive culture. It's a very collaborative culture with students really helping each other and really wanting to, again, win together. So there's a lot of different opportunities across campus. So McMaster has over 300 clubs, and including Latin dance and break dance. They have different cultural clubs, language clubs, magic clubs, even a Quidditch club, which I'm not entirely sure what they do. And within DeGroote, we have different clubs and associations. Each of the different business disciplines, there's an association within that. So we have a marketing association and an operations management association. And these associations are working with our student run, but they're working with our alumni to bring them back as speakers, working to develop case competition teams, to do fundraising at DeGroote, or to do visits to different manufacturing facilities across Ontario. So lots of different ways to get engaged within the faculty as well as at McMaster. When I'm asked to differentiate DeGroote and what really makes DeGroote special, it's not often to a particular class that I'm pointing to. So we teach finance, but I think you'll take finance at most programs that you would enter. We're really spoiled that your business education in Ontario within the classroom is going to look fairly similar. I think probably even the textbooks that we're using would be the same. If we teach you different accounting, you might go to jail. So it's outside of the classroom is where, again, we differentiate ourselves. But I think that's really the most important consideration for you, because how do you want to spend the next 4, 5, 6 years? And it's that culture and that feel, and it's unfortunate that you're not able to come to campus today. I always tell people that, it's great that you've come to May at Mac and you're interested, but come here on pick a random Tuesday and just walk through campus and get a sense of that feel and that culture. It's an incredible, diverse and vibrant campus. So really, it's that student life. I think that's really what the big differentiator is for me and for our students that I've spoken with. I'd like to invite Joel McPherson. He's one of our student leaders. He's been quite engaged throughout his undergraduate, and he's going to talk a little bit about his own experience as well as what the DCS, which is the DeGroote Commerce Society, does. So Joel was the former president of the DeGroote Commerce Society, and he's just graduating right now. So here's Joel.
Hello, my name is Joel McPherson, and I'm a part of the graduating class of 2020. Since we are not here in person today, I want to begin and start off by sharing a little bit of information about myself so you can get to know who I am. Over my past 4 years here at the DeGroote School of Business, I've done a general area of focus, which means I've taken courses in all different areas, and I've been a part of countless clubs, events, competition teams, and I'm really happy to be able to share my story with you here today. I remember sitting where you are 5 years ago. Well, maybe not exactly where you're sitting because that'd be a little bit crazy, but I was attending May at Mac. Like you, I had offers from other schools and trying to find out where I wanted to call my new home. But what stood out to me was the people and the community here at McMaster and at DeGroote. The encouragement, the support, but also the positive, challenging atmosphere that students create here. Not once in my 4 years did I experience oh, you got that mark, but rather I experienced a lot of, okay, how can you and I collaborate to do even better together? How can we take your focus and my focus and come up with something entirely new? The mentorship and the room for growth has shaped me into an entirely new person that I never thought I could be. In my first year, I had an opportunity to join a mentorship program run by our own DeGroote students. It pairs people of similar interests together, and it gives you a best friend in the upper years. My mentor and I still talk, even 4 years today, but now I also have 3 mentees of my own that I was able to connect with my own friends, and I was able to share in their prides of their own successes throughout their undergrad. I've gotten to watch my mentees grow, and again, their successes make me just as proud. Sharing in this pride and the excitement of encouraging others to do their best is what our community is all about. Our community is always growing, always welcoming you, and we're wanting to welcome you into our family, and that's what excites us most. But why else did I choose DeGroote and McMaster? Well, I came from a town that typically does not have many students choose McMaster. So this new start for me was really an opportunity to do something new, something I wanted. Getting involved is not just supported at DeGroote, but it is encouraged. Our faculty, our staff, friends, even our peers all encourage us to follow our passions. There are countless clubs, both within DeGroote and McMaster. If you name something, we probably have it. And if it's not, go and start it. Along with the clubs, DeGroote has committees that host events during all points of the year. These are commerce formals, networking events, fun socials, and always a lot of food. These student organizations is where I had the opportunity and became president of the DeGroote Commerce Society in 2018-2019, where I represented all business students and traveled to meet with other student leaders across the country. But why do I tell you this? Because you can do the same thing. All of our clubs, events, and committees at the DeGroote School of Business are student-run. We take pride in creating new events, networking with professionals, and hosting events to create once-in-a-lifetime memories with your friends. We take what we learn in the classroom, and we practice it through our own student-run initiatives. This is what makes us DeGroote, our community of passionate individuals. I never would have believed you if you told me back in my first year that I would have stepped foot in almost every province in Canada and competed internationally against other universities throughout my 4 years here. But I have. DeGroote puts so much pride into their students that I have competed for DeGroote across our beautiful nation. Any student can do this. I traveled into the Kelowna Mountains in BC, into the heart of Oiler Nation in Edmonton, and even to the Maritime Waters in New Brunswick, only to name a few. And the best part yet, DeGroote funds majority of these trips for us. Again, this is because they believe in us practicing our learnings outside of the classroom. And what better way to do that than to travel and compete against other schools? And yes, winning is fun. For me, going to school at DeGroote has not just been receiving an education. It has been much more than that. I have practiced all the essential needs of a business through the student organizations, the volunteering opportunities, the traveling, and the internship opportunities. Moving into the business world, I now carry with me all of the skills to become successful. DeGroote has prepared me for the life ahead, and I attribute this to the countless opportunities that our students get while being a part of the DeGroote community. DeGroote is becoming bigger and better than ever before. With the creation of the new business building and our up-to-date course curriculum, I am so excited and proud to officially be a DeGroote School of Business alumni, and I'm more than excited for the future of our school. So I encourage you to connect with the DeGroote students that made themselves available to you today. Ask questions, hear their own experiences, because while this is my experience, no experience is ever the same. Each is unique and full of excitement. Have fun during this time, and while things do look a little bit differently today, and I wish I could be with you here in person, please do not hesitate to contact me during the times today. Thank you.
So the world is changing and the world of business is changing. This is very evident right this minute, obviously, but even before this, we've seen businesses moving, technology is moving so fast that textbooks cannot keep up. So how do we prepare students, make sure that they're learning relevant materials and are prepared for the jobs of tomorrow? We do this in a few different ways. So one is by really presenting as much experiential as possible to students, where they're able to learn by doing, or to take what they're learning in the classroom and take it out into the world and see what's working and what isn't working. So a few different ways that we do this is through our internship program, where students are working for an entire year during their undergrad experience. And those students that are coming back into the classroom really do enrich in the learning experience for all students. And we hear from instructors often what a rich experience it is within the classroom to have students that have come back and brought perspectives from different companies, from different industries to those classroom discussions. So not looking at sort of old cases about how did Apple introduce the iPhone to India 10 years ago, looking at what's happening today with coronavirus and new advents in computer programming or data visualization, and how different companies are using those tools as part of their business. Our students do study cases, but I think more relevant is that they're able to actually do live cases as part of their curriculum as well. So what is a live case? So this is where students are working with an actual business to understand what the business landscape is, what the challenges are that business is facing, what decisions they're having to make, and then they're working with their instructors, their TAs, their group members, and being able to go back and actually present to those businesses and give their recommendations. So really working with live data, I think, is a really big benefit for students. And then from an instruction perspective, we are working, so our faculty are leading researchers and helping to define what the next set of business practices are going to be. But then we also have instructors that, so the research instructors are out doing consulting and helping to influence business. And we also have instructors that are coming from business into the classroom to teach on a part-time basis, as well as do other sort of presentations and engage with our groups. So it helps students really understand, again, what is the current landscape, what are the relevant tools, what are the relevant skills, and going through those experiences really helps students sort of refine their classroom learning. So another great opportunity for students, and again, it's an option, right, is our internship program, which happens between your third and final academic year. Again, this is an option for students. Students apply for the internship program after their second year. It's an internship model versus co-op. I'm often asked what's the difference between the two. So co-op is often doing work term, school term, work term, school term in succession, whereas an internship is you're doing an extended work period. For us, that's 12 to 16 months. So depending on whether you start in May after your third year or in September after your third year, coming back for the next September, which might be 12 or 16 months. But we've chosen the internship model very deliberately because we wanted students to be able to work in a business and experience the full business cycle. And we wanted to benefit the employer as well. We do work quite closely with our partners, and we want to make sure that this is a win-win scenario for everyone. But we know that we wanted students to be able to work on more significant projects, to be within the business, to be able to get ramped up, onboarded, and then to be pulled into projects that might last 6, 12, 18 months. So they're able to contribute to those projects, to build their skills, to build their resumes, to build their networks. Really, to be there for a year, it's a year-long interview for some students. We do have a number of our grads actually go to return to where they did their internship because they were there, were able to do good work, make a good name for themselves, meet the right people while they were there, and then they're able to go back oftentimes and start their careers there. And I know a lot of happy fourth year students that have that job offer in hand when they come back for their final year. and it makes for a really nice year. But I do want to, I'll have Sarah now talk about her experience and sort of the type of work that she did on her internship.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Liou and I just recently completed my final year at McMaster University, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience here at DeGroote. So it wasn't that long ago that I was visiting McMaster for the very first time, and from the very first time I visited, I could already see myself here. So whether it's the fact that the campus is beautiful, it literally looks like it's out of a movie, but in addition to that, once you start to visit different schools or learn more about them, you'll start to notice that there is a different culture amongst the students and the faculty that are there. I remember hearing from a lot of my older friends that McMaster was different than other schools because a lot of the students support each other rather than looking at each other as competition. And whether it was the very first time I visited and met with all of the different student reps who were so friendly and excited to help me find my way, or after spending over 4 years here, I can definitely agree to the fact that the community at McMaster is very special, and it creates a sort of family away from home, and everyone is always super supportive of each other. So when I was applying to different schools, the thing that was most important to me and also to my parents was finding a school that would help me secure the ultimate goal of securing a job once I graduate, and really guiding me to find out what it was that I wanted to do after graduating as well. So when I heard about McMaster, or specifically DeGroote's Commerce Internship Program, I was sold. And this isn't your typical photocopying, grabbing coffees type of internship, but this is something where you are put into a full-time role and you have the abilities and the responsibilities of somebody who is in that position. And I had always been really afraid of getting a job once I graduated, as all I really had for experience was working at somewhere like Dairy Queen. And unlike co-ops, which typically last around 2 to 3 months, when you do a full 12 to 16 month long internship, it really gives you that opportunity to build your skills and your network within the company, really see how things work, and be able to participate in projects that are more long term. And then that way you're given more and more responsibility and you're able to experience that full cycle. And by doing that, you're able to realize if that's the type of role you want to do before you actually graduate, so you can figure it out earlier on. Now you're probably wondering, okay, so how do I secure an internship then? So once you're enrolled at the commerce program, you would be enrolled in a course called Commerce 2INO, and that's something where it's a class that's fully dedicated to building those career searching skills, so interviewing, cover letter, resume critiques, everything like that to help prepare you for that process. And it's something that you take in addition to your other courses, so it really prioritizes those skills for you and makes that a huge priority in your day-to-day learnings at school. And it was definitely something that I really learned a lot from. And in addition to that class, you can also book one-on-one appointments with the relationship managers at the Career Center. And this is where, for example, when I was doing my internship application process, I went there for a mock interview session where I worked one-on-one with another relationship manager, and they helped give feedback and improve my interview skills for that actual process. In addition to that, we also had a CIP night, which is a huge networking night that's usually held on campus, and a bunch of the employers come directly to campus and you're able to walk around and meet with all of them, learn more about the roles, sometimes directly from people who are currently on internship, so that way you can learn more about the opportunities before you move forward with that process. And thanks to all of the help I received from the career office, I ended up receiving multiple offers from different internships. And as amazing as this was, it just created even more confusion for me, because then I wasn't sure which opportunity I should go with and which one would be better. So I booked another appointment with the career office, and they helped me balance my options and figure out what would be better for the type of career I was interested in. And I decided to choose to go with a company. So I did my internship with a smaller company called Insight. They focused on web analytics and digital marketing. And I started off in a sales and marketing role, but my role quickly progressed into different projects. I even had the opportunity to work on launching a new service of the company with the CEO, and that was something that was really exciting and a great opportunity for me. The highlight of my internship was when one of the managers brought up a Google Cloud competition that was all about data visualization, and this was something that was very specific to the role of my internship and what I was learning there. So I ended up participating and was lucky to have been selected as one of the 5 winners worldwide. So it was a really great experience. I was invited to the Google Cloud conference in San Francisco, interviewed for their YouTube channel about my experiences, and there were so many different opportunities that came from that contest that I never would have had the confidence or the skill set to participate in if it wasn't for the internship that I was on at that time. But now being back and just finishing my last year at McMaster, I could actually connect a lot of those internship experiences directly to the content that I was learning in the classroom, and you can definitely tell the difference between the students who went on internship and the ones that didn't. You build a lot of skills and confidence, and you just get to know how businesses work a lot better. And I truly believe that everything I went through in the internship program, all of that preparation, really helped me for graduate recruitment as well. So I was not nearly as stressed when doing interviews, resumes, networking, and everything like that for grad recruitment, because I had already gone through that whole process for internship. So it was amazing preparation for that. So before I end off here today, I just want to say that if any of you aren't really sure what you want to do, or you're trying to figure things out and you're not sure what type of opportunity you want, it's completely okay. I was in the exact same situation, and honestly, that's what university is for. That's what we're all here for, is to help you, guide you along that way and figure out what you want to do, but also have some fun during the years that you're here and working towards that. So thank you so much. I hope that I was able to let you know a little bit about my experience, and if you have any other questions about my experience at DeGroote, then feel free to ask. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Internship is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for students. I should have mentioned also the internships are paid. So average salary last year was around $40,000, which I think is pretty significant. And again, the work is significant. So students are really, really learning through this experience and gaining that exposure and that experience. So I should also note that beyond internship, we do have a great deal of career support available to students right from day one. So you don't have to wait until your second or third year. So there's a career presentation, which I strongly encourage you to engage in, as well as our student ambassadors that you're able to meet and speak with throughout the day. Many of them have done internship or are on internship currently. So a great opportunity for you to engage with them as well. But really understand, so what is it, what supports are available to you, and how to engage with this office. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of opportunities through our exchange program. So McMaster has a very large exchange program. In addition to all of those opportunities, DeGroote has unique business school to business school agreements as well. So those are only available to business students. So this allows you in your third year, again, to choose to go on 1 or 2 terms. So this is what's really wonderful about this is you're paying your tuition to McMaster. So you're not subject to any international fees attending those schools abroad. So your tuition remains the same that you're paying to McMaster. The courses are all pre-approved to count towards your McMaster degree. And it allows you the opportunity to live and experience and really immerse yourself in another culture, in another country, and to build networks with people from other places, to understand different customs and different cultures. Really, really wonderful experience. I did exchange as an undergrad student. It really put my whole life on a different trajectory. There's another video you might find of me on the McMaster site talking about my exchange experiences, but I can't recommend it enough. And again, what's really remarkable about this is the breadth. So how many different places you can go. But what was most impressive to me is whether you're studying in Japan, Australia, Singapore, Germany, you're actually studying in English, which is great. So again, it's taking your comfort zone and really expanding that in a relatively safe and risk mitigated way. So really strongly encourage you to do that. We do have students that have done exchange, quite a few, that are available to speak with you as part of our May at Mac, as well as subsequently. We do have some exchange, really good exchange videos online as well on the site, where you can see some of our students and some of the experiences that they've had during their exchanges. With regards to other supports available on campus, I often, and this is sometimes for the parents, but I just do want to assure you, your family, that there is a lot of individualized care and consideration available to students. So yes, you'll be joining a faculty along with 800 other students, but you are more than a number. And again, there are a lot of different opportunities and resources available to you to make sure that you are supported and healthy and safe as you go through the program. So with On Campus, I manage our student experience academic team. So we are in the DeGroote School of Business building. We are your first line of support. So I manage a team of program administrators, recruiters, and academic advisors. And again, we are your first line of support. We offer support directly, and we liaise with the different offices on campus to make sure that you are getting what you need. So I do want to highlight a few of these organizations, just so you understand sort of the lay of the land. So on campus, we do have our Student Wellness Center. So this is it's a medical office that has both clinician, so medical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. So whether it's mental health or physical health, that support is available on campus. And they work with our offices to make sure that if you're unwell, they're able to help us understand sort of what it is that you need, any sort of academic support or sort of rescheduling of assessments or obligations. That's something we're able to do. Student accessibility services works with students that have learning disabilities or physical disabilities, anything that would preclude them from fully participating in our courses and activities. Student accessibility works with students. So students are working sort of addressing that with student accessibility services, sharing any sort of consideration that they need. Then student accessibility services actually works with your course instructors to make sure that you have the support and access that you need to fully participate. So I've seen classes of several hundred people get moved across campus to make sure that there's accessible seating within the building, where students might be on a particular medication that makes you drowsy in the evenings. That might not be the optimal time to write your midterms. So SAS works with your course instructors to have you write your midterm at a different time. So whatever the different circumstances are, again, there's that individualized consideration. And then finally, we have our Student Success Center. And again, they are doing just an enormous amount of programming to help you be successful at university. We do leverage them and bring them into some of our classes. But what's the best means of taking notes? How do you beat procrastination? How do you be successful writing multiple choice tests that are worth 30 or 40% of your final grade? So there is a lot of adjustment coming to university. It's a different learning environment. It's a different set of expectations. The responsibility has shifted. So there's a lot of autonomy. So really needing students to take accountability and take responsibility for how they're working. But again, the supports are there. We need you to engage with us and let us know what you need. It's hard for us to sort of see you walking by and know that you need some support. But again, we're fully available and want to be able to make sure, again, that you're happy, healthy, and safe through the program. So that really wraps up our formal presentation. So just to sort of go back and summarize, why DeGroote? Really, it's the reputation and the quality of the education that you'll receive. It's the flexibility and different opportunities within the program to really make the program yours and to get what you want out of the program, to become the person that you want to become. And then finally, the different student life, those opportunities, that community, that culture that is really, again, how you're going to live the next several years of your life. So it is a matter of fit. Again, I encourage you to talk to as many people as you can. We have a lot of opportunities for you to sort of learn about the program through these videos, but we're really happy to set you up to talk to an advisor or another staff member. I'll be taking questions. I'll be taking meetings myself, if you haven't heard enough from me, as well as our other presenters today. But again, engage as much as you can and really get a sense. I think, again, you can take for granted that you'll leave here with a great education, but it needs to be the right fit for you. So again, happy to talk about what it is that you're looking for, because I think, again, there's enough opportunities here to make sure that you get what you need. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in September. Hi, thanks everyone. So my name is still Greg Rombo. So we're looking for questions from the group if there's any questions. Otherwise, just want to highlight that there's a presentation coming on at 10 o'clock this morning, Eastern time. And that's with our career team. So Cynthia Bishop's going to be presenting. She's able to answer any career or internship questions that you might have. So please type your questions into the chat box. I'm happy to answer. I can start with a couple questions I've gotten over the past several sessions. So one question that I got was, can students do both internship as well as exchange? And the answer is yes. So students are able to do, with some planning, both internship and exchange. So it's the exchange during your third year, and that might be the fall term, the winter term, or both. But during that, you're able to participate in the internship process, interviewing while you're abroad. So different companies or different sectors have different sort of arrangements with that. So it's best that you connect with a career relationship manager if you're considering exchange. Similarly, students ask if we're able to do the designations as well as go on exchange. And again, the answer is yes. With some planning, you are able to do the exchange and continue to pursue one of your designations. Again, there's planning required because it's very difficult for you to do your Canadian tax law while you're in Switzerland or France. But with some planning, again, you're able to go for at least one term on your exchange. So the question that just came in is the accelerated MBA, the 6-year option, is that completed in 8 or 12 months? So the answer is 8 months. So because you have your commerce degree and you're able to, you've sort of covered all the sort of intro and the technical skills for each of the required areas. You're basically going into your MBA and completing your mostly electives and really focusing on what you want to do and taking that management perspective. So it's 8 months. And Joel, do you want to take the next question?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Greg. So the second question here is, where can you go on exchange? Now, the list is extensive, so I definitely couldn't list every single one here for you guys. I wish I could. I wish I even had it memorized. But there are so many different locations. I know so many of my friends have gone to Australia. Some of them have obviously gone to more Central Europe, some in England, some in Scotland. So the locations are really, really diverse, and it's definitely suited towards what you're looking for. If you're interested in learning a certain culture at a certain school, I go for it. I mean, that's definitely the opportunity that we want you guys to take. And those are a lot of those experiences that personally I never got to go on, but my friends that did absolutely loved it. And those are memories they're going to hold on to forever.
Yeah, and I want to encourage students. I mentioned in the presentation that you have the capability of studying in English at each of the destinations, but there's still a great opportunity for you to get out into the community and travel and learn as much language as possible. So that's only going to benefit you. Okay. I had a couple questions yesterday that I wasn't able to answer as well as I would have liked to have. So I'm going to ask either Sarah or Joel. Some people were interested in what the food options on campus look like and in the sort of campus neighborhood. Sarah or Joel.
Yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't get my unmute to work there quickly enough. But yeah, we have so many different options for food. So personally, myself, I lived in Westdale, which was just off campus, about 8-minute walk to campus, so not bad at all. So I had options both at McMaster on campus, as well as actually in Westdale in more of the central Hamilton area. So on campus, there are many, many different locations, especially if you live on residence. In my case, I also lived in residence in first year. So I was actually able to eat at a bunch of the different bistros across campus. So I had a student card that I had some of the preloaded value on to actually purchase the food. And with this, it actually allowed me to, again, explore all different areas on campus. So on campus, we have many, many different locations to allow for actual dietary restrictions. So if you were someone who maybe is gluten sensitive, that is absolutely okay. And there's actually certain locations for you to eat at that are going to be more inapt for you to actually consider eating all the food, obviously, with variety. For myself, I really enjoyed a bunch of the kind of buffet style foods. So that's where I ended up going a lot of the time. Again, kind of changes it up. You get to try different things. But then there's also more sit downs where you can actually sit down with your friends. I often found myself studying in some of these sit down restaurants where, between classes where I had an hour to spare, I would go grab an appetizer, kind of continue typing my notes, and then continue on. But like I said, there's also so many locations off of campus. Hamilton is an incredible city where the food and tourism is really booming. So there's so many cool different places to try. Every year that I lived in Hamilton, I mean, there was countless new businesses that were opening for me to explore. So I love tacos. I found all the taco places in Hamilton, and it was quite a cool experience for sure. But amazing and a lot of food options.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Joel. We did have a question about case competitions yesterday and how early can students get involved and what does that look like to get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So case competitions were definitely one of the highlights of my undergraduate experience. And with the case competitions, as I earlier mentioned, I got opportunities to actually travel across our nation. I have been in BC for case competitions, in Edmonton, in the Maritimes, in New Brunswick. I've been to Montreal. So a lot of those opportunities are there for you to take. And I mean, those are outside of Ontario. Our school, the DeGroote School of Business, even hosts countless opportunities to learn and practice your skills. So ultimately for those, I found that a lot of self exploration was needed to find some of them. So I often was kind of looking and searching other schools to see where maybe some opportunities would be to go. And then other than that, our actual DeGroote Commerce Society annually puts together a list of case competitions for students. So if you're interested in finding some and maybe you're trying to still learn the skills to do things like that, you can find them there. And the last piece to that I'll quickly mention is we have a really cool committee at the DeGroote School of Business. It's called JDCC. It's Jus de Commerce. And essentially, well, as you may know, it stands for the Commerce Games, but it brings together a group of students who compete for DeGroote. It's a very, very passionate team. And you know what? It's everyone who wants to learn more about cases. So they have an incubator system where you can learn a little bit more about how to actually build these skills in cases on top of what you're actually going to learn in one of the grow courses in first year. So really cool opportunities there.
Thanks, Joel.
So there was a question about bus pass for Hamilton. So yes, you do get a bus pass in Hamilton. It'll be a Presto card, and then you can use that to travel on the Hamilton Transit, which is really great if you want to try and visit some of the places that Joel mentioned earlier. There's so many different places around Hamilton that are really fun to go and explore with your new friends that you meet at McMaster. So yeah, that's definitely a really great benefit of being a McMaster student. So yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Joel. That's the questions that we've received so far. But again, I'll ask you to continue to put in questions and just prepare for the career presentation, which begins in about 5 minutes. Again, lots of great questions there. Cynthia is going to be answering questions live as she goes through the presentation. So keep those questions coming. And then we do have students as well as our academic advisors that are available for one-on-one chats. So throughout this morning, again, Eastern time. So for the next 2 hours or approximately, we're meeting with students. Happy to speak with you one-on-one. And then if you want to follow up with us afterwards, we're happy to reach out and contact you over the next several weeks. And again, there's going to be a lot of contact through the summer. And then again, we hope to see you in September. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to DeGroote's virtual open house. My name is Cynthia Bishop. I am the Manager of Career and Professional Development, and I'm very excited to be here with you today and share a little bit more about career at DeGroote. You've heard from my colleague this morning, Greg, and I know his presentation was pre-recorded. As he mentioned, this one is actually live. So we are taking questions throughout the presentation, so feel free to populate that chat. And I will definitely answer those as we go, or at the end of the presentation, we also have some time for Q&A. I wanted to start off a little bit about telling you about career and professional development at DeGroote. So in my role, I oversee an entire team dedicated to supporting all our programs in terms of personalized career development, as well as being the point of contact for all our employer partners coming into DeGroote to engage in recruitment of our students. We are also the home for our work integrated learning activities. So that's our co-op and internship programs. It is quite a large team. But what is so special at DeGroote is that within that large team, we actually have dedicated local teams. So let me introduce you to our BCom team. This will be the individuals that you will work with directly as you join us at DeGroote. So within our BCom team, we have 5 dedicated team members. Well, you'll notice on the slide, I only have 4 photos posted. That is not an error. Our 5th team member, Jeff Webb, joined us while we have been in our virtual campuses. Unfortunately, we haven't had the opportunity to take his professional headshot just yet, but he is listed there. He oversees the operations of our team, our local team. And within that team, you will see we have 3 relationship managers, Brooke, Allison, and Danielle. Danielle is actually with us today. You will probably have seen in the chat function that there is a link to her office hours in Zoom. So as one of our relationship managers, she is dedicating some of her time this morning to answer very specific questions that you may have in regards to your career journey and how we can support you. I think she's also joined by an intern who will be also sharing their experiences with you. So the relationship managers really are the student-facing staff members. They work with our students one-on-one. They provide all our career development pieces to our students, as well as engage with our employer partners. Megan Forbes, who is also on this slide, is our associate for events and recruitment. So you will hear from her quite a bit via email. She handles all our logistics. She is the brainpower behind our operations and makes sure that everything runs smoothly for our staff, for our students, for our employer partners, so all our stakeholders. But what I wanted to focus on a little bit today is on the student development side and how we work with our students to achieve their career goals. In particular, the core of our functions involve one-on-one career coaching. This is a very important model for us. So students have full access to career services from the day they join DeGroote. They do not have to wait till second year, third year, or until they complete certain number of workshops before they can meet with a relationship manager. You have full access to the team immediately. The other piece that's great about that is that we also don't have an intermediary between. So you do not have to do a peer support review of any of your documents before you meet with a relationship manager. So that is the bulk of our activity. That is to ensure that we are supporting everyone's individual career goals. So that's very important to us at DeGroote. We also certainly offer workshops to our students. We look at a variety of programming, in particular focused on business-specific careers. So you will see a lot of technical training around finance interviews and consulting interviews. You will also see us work with many of the professional associations. Greg mentioned some of our partnerships already, the CPA, the CFA, the HRPA as well. But we also work with the Canadian Marketing Association. We look at designations such as the PMP as well. So really working at providing our students opportunities that are focused around specializing in business. We do that because, in fact, we are able to do that because you also have the supports of our Central Career Center. So the Student Success Center that Greg mentioned is kind of our counterpart. So they work with all students at McMaster. So in fact, our BCom students have access to 2 career teams, both really helping to drive your career goals forward. We also look at integration within the curriculum as part of the career team. And this is where it's an important part for us, as part of our philosophy at DeGroote. That integration, we see that with the incorporation of internship within our curriculum, but we also see it in many other ways. Greg mentioned the GROW courses as part of your curriculum, and that really is a partnership between the academic side of the house and the career side. So you will have access to career team as well as career resources as part of that GROW series. In addition, one of our flagship courses that we're very, very proud of is our career development course, referred to as 2INO. You would have heard Sarah say that as well. The 2INO course happens in level 2. It is open to all our students within the BCom program. It is unique in nature. It has very small sections, probably about 36 students max per section. We try to keep it at. It is a very active learning environment. It's focused on the career toolkit, and our relationship managers facilitate those courses. They're 5 weeks in length, but they're also supported by our career mentors, which is a program I'm going to share a little bit about a little later on. It is a very popular course. About 500 students took it this past year. We offered over 13 sections of that course, so they varied a little bit in size. In fact, we're running 2 sections as we speak. The first for the spring term. We had a section run yesterday, and I believe there is one this evening that our relationship managers will be running for our students who are looking at taking it in the spring term. So it is ongoing. It is well received from our students, and I would highly encourage you to take the course. It helps to prepare you in terms of summer job search, part-time job search, new grad, internship, whatever it is that you're looking at in the future. But I mentioned a little bit about our career mentors, which is really founded in the premise of many things that you've heard from our previous presenters, is around community and collaboration. This is what is so special about DeGroote. This is at the core of our culture, and it's at the core of everything that we do. And that includes within career. So I mentioned the career mentors, and they are a key group of students who are doing peer-to-peer mentorship as it relates to career, so transitioning from school to work for our students. Joel mentioned mentorship in his first year, that students have access to upper year students. That's very much focused around transitioning to the business school and your success in the business school. So we've created this smaller group of individuals who will support you in looking at transitioning from school to work. We do that within 2INO, but also outside of the classroom with those students. Mentorship and collaboration is such a key part of what we do. You can see that obviously with our one-on-one coaching, the peer-to-peer mentorship, in person, and we are excited because we're also going to be launching a new tool for peer-to-peer mentorship within the next couple of weeks, in fact, which is founded in 10,000 Coffees. Some of you may have heard of that networking tool. That platform is actually going to allow us, because our geography is a little different, even when we're not in a virtual world, our MBA students don't reside in the same space as our BCom students. So this new tool will allow peer-to-peer networking and mentorship across our programs at DeGroote. So some great learning opportunities for students from each other as they support each other in terms of reaching their career goals. We certainly, I would be remiss without speaking about our alumni community, who are such great advocates for our students and such great supports for our students. We do many different types of activities with our alumni. Obviously, different size, formats, engagement types, whether it's through mock interviews, whether it's alumni coffee breaks, which are small boardroom style conversations that are focused in Q&A. We do larger industry speaker series. We also have an online network that's through McMaster that has a DeGroote specific section. So again, many different opportunities for you to engage. Great advice that is shared from our alumni. We were thrilled last week to host, we had the president of Fidelity Investments Canada, an alum of our program, speak to our students. He was actually sharing insights around COVID-19 and the economic landscape, but also sharing some feedback around how to be a leader in crisis, and also just giving advice to our students around future career success. So great event. So just because we are not on site, those large scale events and even the closer tight-knit connections are still happening. We obviously, I mentioned earlier, we also work with our employer partners quite a bit. The students don't see us behind the scenes doing that, but we certainly provide full on-campus recruitment activities for our students. So the career team will host information sessions, post jobs, schedule interviews, connect employer partners with our student clubs as it relates to summer and new grad recruitment. We have a key list of corporate partners, and if you jump into a Zoom with Danielle, she'll be able to share that full list. It's too long of a list to put on a slide, but certainly that full suite of services is supported by our local career team for our BCom students and for our BCom employers. So that's an exciting piece for us because that certainly is one of the reasons students are coming to do their BCom. And so supporting you early on around those activities is important for us. We do have dedicated business job boards. That's also that kind of joint model I mentioned, the Student Success Center, as well as our CPD team. So you will actually have access to 2 job boards. You'll have access to our Central Career Center job board, as well as the BCom job board. So kind of dual services as you go through as an undergrad, but full services. Now, I know there's a lot of questions around internships, so I want to share a little bit about our new honors BCom with internship. And I say new because internship isn't new, but this new degree program is. Previously, you would have seen in some of our collateral, in fact, you will probably see it on some of our websites still, is that it was referred to as the Commerce Internship Program, so CIP. That is now being phased out. We've received Senate approval, so we are launching our new BCom with internship program for the fall of 2020. So this will be the program that you will have access to as a DeGroote student within the program. So you're similar to what Greg was mentioning, where you don't apply for the MBA stream, so the BCom with MBA stream, you're not applying at this moment coming into the program to the honors BCom with internship. That will happen after you've completed level 2. So it is a 5-year program. After level 2, so in the spring summer term, so we actually have a group of students going through this process right now, you will apply for admission into the honors BCom with internship program should you be interested in exploring that. It's a written application, so you will submit a statement of interest as well as some other documentation, including your resume. You will look at your transcript. So you have to have completed level 2, successfully completed level 2. So full-time student, minimum grade point average for consideration is a 7.0. And I did receive some questions in our previous presentations around what is a 7.0, because every school has different grading schemes. So that is a B-, and the numerical equivalent is a 70 to a 72. You must, and as I mentioned, full-time student, minimum CGPA of 7.0. You also have to have completed 2 INO, so the career development course is an important piece of that as well. Students will then be taken through an interview with the career team. And I think this is the part that stresses students out a little bit is, what do you look for in the interview? Do I have to have previous experience in order to apply to the program? Do I have to not go on exchange to apply to internship? So I know there's a lot of questions around that, but the answer is what we're looking for is not trying to select our top X number of students. We are looking at making sure that the internship program is the right fit for you based on your career goals. In some cases, it may not be. You might be better suited to look at summer opportunities because of the types of roles or industries that you're looking at exploring. But we will take you through that process. The team will work with you, and I'll get into some of the nitty-gritty numbers in a second. You are admitted into the BCom with internships at the beginning of level 3. So your level 3 courses will be the exact same structure that Greg had mentioned in his presentation. But while you are studying, you will be in full-time internship search. And the career team will work with you around that. There's some structure that you will see, including regular workshops, one-on-one meetings that you'll have to do. We have actually 3 recruitment cycles over level 3 that students participate in. And we'll get into those details when you join us at DeGroote, but just know there's a lot of active recruitment, and it's quite, students dedicate quite a bit of time to do the internship search. You will go out on internship in level 4, what would be traditionally your level 4, so your 4th year of studies. Internships are 12 to 16 months. They are full-time work. So students are not enrolled in courses during that period of time as part of their curriculum requirements. We do have some options for students who do want to take a course or 2 while they're out for that year. But really, there is no expectations. The expectation is that you are committed to your full-time role within the organization that you're matched with. You will return for level 5 to complete your studies full-time. So that's a little bit about our structure of our internship and how that fits into our new BCom with internship. And now let me get into some of the nitty-gritty about the numbers, because I often see questions show up in the chat around, so how many students get into the program? What's our secure rates? How much money do I make? Where do I go work? So let me go into these numbers a little bit with you. So one of the challenges for us right now is our past program doesn't necessarily predict the numbers for our future program, because this is a considerable change for us in terms of going from an optional program to a mandatory internship within a degree program. We anticipate we will see about the same. So currently, we are just wrapping up 249 internships with our students, so they are out for 1920. I can't give you the 2021 numbers because we are still placing students for that cycle, and some students have already started, but returning to us on campus for their final year this September are 249 students. For those 249 students, 90% of those roles were secured through our job board, so our internship job board. Sarah mentioned that in her presentation, but it really is a robust job board. We work very, very hard to make sure we have the opportunities available to our students who are within our internship program. And just looking at those opportunities, it is, I think there were some questions for Greg around the difference between co-op and internship. Because the internship is coming after level 3, we screen all the roles that come into our job board to ensure there's a certain level of experience required for them, and that the students are able to deliver on certain projects, that there are some analytical pieces to those roles, that they are really leveraging the education that students have had thus far. It's one of the reasons we implemented the internship model, was that we know by the end of level 3, our students have now seen all the functional areas of business. So you have a solid foundation in level 1, level 2, and now you've also started exploring your electives. So students are able to apply, they have lots of learning to bring into the workplace. And we want to make sure, as we are handing out academic credit for those internships, that they meet a certain level of experience. So they are vetted from our office. We don't accept all jobs that come to us, but because we want to ensure a very robust experience for our students. As Greg mentioned in his presentation, students these are paid positions. And that's all part of the learning experience for us as well, is that our students are treated as full-time employees while on the work site. They are fully integrated within their teams. They live full life cycles within their organizations. They see projects to completion. They function through an entire budget year. So it is a very immersive experience for our students as they're out on internship. I also get asked, where do they go? Who are your employer partners? Where are they going? And in fact, they are staying primarily within Ontario. That is where we've seen the bulk of our roles, in particular the GTA. About 80% of that 249 were in the GTA, another 15% in the Greater Hamilton area, and 5% kind of scattered throughout the rest of the province. Students often ask, am I not allowed to go anywhere else? That's not true, but just most of our roles are within Ontario. Students have done internships abroad, as well as other areas within other regions within Canada. Those are often done through independent searches. In particular, there's kind of two reasons why that has happened. One is our program was an optional program, which meant there were some limitations around mobility, especially internationally, around work visas. So now that it is a required part of a new degree program, that might open up some new opportunities for our students for international internships. The other part of that is the community that we are part of. So our students are highly engaged within our DeGroote and McMaster community. And so that doesn't change when they're on internship. In fact, many of them stay highly engaged in their student clubs, leadership activities, varsity sports, all of those pieces that are part of our community at McMaster. And so they don't go too far away because they still want to maintain those connections and engagement points as well. But really, that's all up to the student and what the journey that they're looking at. I'm going to do a quick check here because I've been doing a lot of chatting, is to see if we have any other questions that I didn't catch along the way. So I'm just going to take a quick look at my chat to see if there's anything right now before I sign off. Anything outstanding that we haven't answered for you today? Gladly answer for those for you now. There was a question around exchange and internship and how that works a little bit, because Greg did mention that you can do both, and that is correct. So we have always supported our exchange students. So our exchange students are out primarily in level 3. So whether it is the fall and or winter term, which, as I mentioned, that is when we do our most active recruitment for internship. So that's when you're in job search. So we actually have always worked with our exchange students to do that search virtually. So even before the campus became a virtual campus this summer, and we're currently supporting all our students around virtual job search, we had already those mechanisms in place to support our exchange students. So yes, as an exchange student, no matter where you are in the world, you can absolutely do internship. Just be aware, though, that often, so our employer partners are interviewing on Eastern Standard Time. So that sometimes means that you are interviewing at midnight, depending on what country you are studying in. So there's some interesting scheduling pieces from our exchange students while they're abroad, but it is certainly possible, and we actually encourage that as well. We have some questions around corporations, so specific corporations that are recruiting from internship. The list is quite lengthy, and so let me try to highlight some of the pieces. Students were asking about CPA specifically. Yes, we work with the Big Four. We also work with some small to medium-sized firms, especially within the Greater Hamilton area, where students can gain some CPA hours as well. And we have obviously a mechanism in place with CPA Ontario for you to be able to transfer those from your internship and track those from your internship. Many of our students are finance students who are interested in CFA. We also work with the big banks, so the 5 big banks. Again, from year to year, it may vary. You may see all of them, you may see 3 of them. We certainly have partnerships with all those organizations, as well as various other organizations within the financial sector. We also work, kind of our top groupings of employers also involve manufacturing and tech telecommunications. So you will see kind of all of those large Canadian corporations. But again, we also see some medium-sized firms as well, because not all students want to work for large corporate. We see some smaller organizations, especially as we look at our more regional employers, as it involves the startup realm as well as fintech realm. So we're starting to see kind of a lot more of the small to medium-sized enterprises looking at internship to fill their recruitment needs. Hopefully that helped to answer some of your questions. And as I mentioned, Danielle also has a list of our employer partners from 2019-20. But again, that's constantly changing depending on where our students' interests are in terms of employment. Great. I think we answered all of the questions. As always, if there's anything additionally that you have, our academic advisors and career relationship managers are here throughout the virtual open house to answer those in their office hours. The Zoom links are within the chat for you to just simply click through. I know we have a student panel coming up in about a half an hour. So here, just a few closing remarks from me. So first of all, before I go, congratulations on your offer to DeGroote, and welcome to DeGroote. I am very much looking forward to meeting everybody in September as you join us fully within our DeGroote community. And I often think about Dr. Seuss, the places you'll go, every September when all our students join us, our new students join us, because it is the start of something wonderful, and it is so unique and so special. And the career team is always excited to see and hear more about what your career goals are, and to have a part to play in that, and to see that journey develop as you explore your interest, as you grow and develop, as you look at engagement opportunities in the classroom, outside the classroom. Just know we are here to support you, and we are here to be your advocates and your cheerleaders, and we are always in your corner. So thank you again for spending some time with me this morning. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, look forward to seeing you on campus soon. Bye for now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for the student panel. I am joined by many of my current students here. Obviously, we are really excited to actually get to answer some of the questions for you today. So I encourage you to actually use the chat down below. Enter any questions that you might have for us. If you watched it earlier, you'd recognize that obviously I am Joel. Again, I am back, so thank you for having me. But I want to obviously introduce everyone here first. So if you don't remember, my name is Joel McPherson. I did recently just graduate in 2020, this past spring, or I guess now. But again, I am currently with a bunch of my fellow students here who are incredible leaders, and I'm very excited to be with each of them. So I'll hand it off to them to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Diana, and I'm going into my third year here at the BCom at DeGroote, and I'm from Oakville, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Brita Noman. I'm an aspiring CPA going into the third year here at DeGroote, and I'm from Mississauga, Ontario.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Liam. I am currently going in my fourth year. I am pursuing my CPA, and I'm also from Oakville, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Max. I'm an incoming fourth year student, and I'm from Hamilton, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Inika. I am a recent graduate of DeGroote School of Business. Just like Joel in spring 2020, I completed my accounting major from DeGroote, and now I am currently studying towards my CPA.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brody Moss. I'm going into my fourth year of the Bachelor of Commerce program, majoring in marketing and HR. And yeah.
Hi, my name is Julia. I am going into my fourth year of commerce as well. I live in Hamilton, Ontario.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. And just a reminder for all of you guys watching, please type your questions down below. It really is a lot more engaging for us to definitely ask the things that are kind of urgently on your mind. And we've all probably gone through it or going through it right now. So please, I do definitely encourage you to ask those questions. But to start, I will start with some questions that we've had in the past that we do frequently see. The first one being, what is the first year course load like? And is math difficult? So I'll open this up to anyone here.
I'll start with this question. The workload in first year is hard, but it's nothing that's not manageable. It is difficult not having your teachers remind you every single day when your homework is due. You're supposed to just realize that you do have weekly quizzes for each class. It's helpful to get a calendar and write down your information. But relating to is math difficult, it's not as math heavy as you expect. There is a calculus that you have to take in second semester. It's not as hard as you think it's going to be because there is so many resources on campus that you can utilize. I actually went to the Math Help Center like twice a week, every single week, and there was TAs there, student leaders to help you with your homework, and it really made it manageable.
To go off Julia, that was a great point. I also think, it's tough going into university for the first time. Obviously, a lot of your tests, midterms, and things like that are weighted a lot more heavy. So this means there's a lot more pressure on you to study, a lot more pressure on you to take the time to better yourself, learn more. However, I think you learn best by doing things, and definitely semester one is definitely a learning curve, but I think everyone gets the hang of it for sure.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. Thank you, guys. And Julia, quickly, just to follow up with yours, is the Math Help Center available to everyone? Is that something that everyone has access to?
It's available to everybody. It's right on campus. It's in a really nice building, and it's very welcoming.
Amazing. No, that's awesome. I definitely used those resources as well. So, I mean, it's definitely manageable. The second question here is, what is it like to apply to exchange? I'm for exchange. So someone maybe who's going on exchange, maybe you could talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I'm actually hoping to go on exchange in the winter term of 2021. And the applying process is not a complicated or difficult process at all. It just requires a lot of research because all the staff wants to make sure that you go to the host country that you really want to, and that you know that there are many different ways to make the best out of your experience while on your exchange. So through researching, you get to rank 3 different schools or 3 different countries that you wish to go to. And your 3 schools can actually be based in the same country if you're really eager on going to a specific one. So once you rank them, you submit that. There's also a written portion to the application. which is a statement of interest. In my case, it was answering 4 questions just based on my research as well. And additionally, you submit your application, submit your rankings. They take a look at your application and they get back to you around your second semester of second year. And they usually give you your first or second option. In most cases, you get one of your top 3. And if by any reason you're not given one of your top 3 choices, the staff really helps to make sure that you go to a country that you're interested in. And they're really approachable and helpful. And if you need to do further research or are kind of confused on which country you want to go between the ones you're given, they're really helpful and always there and are really good with answering emails as well. And their office is free to drop in at any time as well.
Wow, I feel like I now know the entire process. Thank you, Diana. That's amazing. That was perfect. So the next question, and again, I do encourage you guys to continuously put questions in the chat here below for us, but was, in your opinion, what is the best residence on campus? So maybe someone who lived in residence, go for it.
I can answer this question. So typically all the residences are the best. I mean, you really make your experience what it is, as long as you are getting out there, introducing yourself. Everybody's in the same boat as you. Everybody wants to make friends, and everybody's very, very welcoming. The best residences, I would say, definitely have AC. So I lived in Head and Holland first year. Now, my room wasn't very accommodating. I was in a triple loft, so that's a bunk bed that is over your desk, and everybody has their own bunk bed set. But my roommates were incredible, made friends with them very, very fast. And we traveled a lot to our other friends' residences. So it's really about your making of friendships within the residences that makes your experience.
Perfect. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be at the Bates residence. So my room was a group of 4, the apartment style. So basically what that means is we have a shared space, being a kitchen and a common room. And then we all have our own independent rooms with our own doors, which I think is the best way to go. I think you want to live with people. I think you want to meet as many people as Brody said, but I also think it's incredibly important to have your own space, to shut the door, study on your own, and kind of, have some time to yourself. I now live with the 3 other guys I met in this apartment style, and I still live with them today. I can say it's one of my best memories. Some of my best friends were made from residence. So I really have only good things to say about it.
Amazing. And I mean, I even know that McMaster is consistently updating the residences. There's even a brand new one that opened this year. So I don't think any of us got to live in it, but obviously for everyone currently going into second year or coming in the fall, could have the opportunity to be in that brand new residence as well, which is pretty cool. The next question here is, what can you do in the Gould trading floor? Julia, maybe do you want us to take a stab at this one?
I can answer this question. I love the trading floor. I actually took the Commerce 3FI3 course, which is market trading with options. Basically, you get to trade live on these computers, but with like fake money. So like you're not spending your own money like investing, but you're investing like money that DeGroote like through this program. So basically, you can invest money in all these stocks and make your own portfolios and see how well you perform in the actual stock market, because it's real-time updates with the stock markets. So basically, in this class that you take, which is open to anybody, the only prerequisites are mandatory commerce courses, so anyone will be able to take it in third year. You get to learn how to use options. Basically, you get to learn how the stock market works, and that's something that I was just really interested in. Like, I went up to my professor and I was like, can you teach me how to use the stock market? And it was like, that's basically what the course encompasses. So if you're interested in learning Bloomberg, which is a type of technology that the software to invest in, they'll teach you all about how to use that. There's amazing TAs there. Even if you just don't take that course and you just want to drop in, it's open to anybody in commerce. You can just drop in, try and play around. You can do your BMC, which is your Bloomberg Market Concepts. It's just a little certificate that you can get that shows that you have some experience in trading with the Bloomberg software, and many internships and companies like to know that you have that. It's just something that not everyone has, so it gives you a little bit of an advantage, and it's completely free for everyone in commerce. So I highly recommend doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can briefly speak on that too, because I was actually going to get that certificate there before all of this kind of world got flipped upside down. But it's really, really unique because anyone is able to do it. And they actually have workers, some students, some professionals that actually work in the trading floor to assist our current students. So you can really have a very limited amount of finance knowledge or the most amount of finance knowledge and be able to get something out of the programs, which again is really, really unique. Perfect. So another question here is what is available at the Burlington building? So I'm pretty sure they're referring to the Ron Joyce Center here. Obviously that's not on our main campus. Does anyone want to explain maybe what the Burlington building does?
I can take that. So essentially with the Burlington building, or as we usually acronize everything, so we call it the Ron Joyce Center or RJC. That building is mainly for the MBA program. So usually as an undergrad student, you would not be going there. However, there are some case competitions or events that will be hosted there. So you would get a chance to actually go in that environment, see how different that is from the actual DeGroote building, and see like it's just a total different experience about what you get over there. Again, you're not going to be there like 24/7 because that's off campus and that's not where your main campus is or your classes would be held. It's just like more so of what your future can be if you choose to do the MBA with DeGroote.
Amazing. And what type of events are usually seen there? I know I've attended a couple of them at the Ron Joyce Center. Maybe you guys can elaborate some that maybe you've been to.
Yeah, so this past this past
Yeah.
year actually, so this past year I joined DECA. So it's just similar to DECA High School. I'm sure like a lot of you have heard of it. And so we do have a university DECA level, and the regionals actually took place at Ron Joyce Center this year, and I had the privilege of going, and I was with a partner, and we had like a whole day where we just did case competitions and attended various seminars within the building. So it's a great place to host events, and it is very, very meaningful events that they do host there where you can learn a lot from industry professionals and take your learning outside of the classroom.
Perfect. That's exactly it. Now let's look at our next question here. What electives are available and can you do a minor at the DeGroote School of Business? Anyone can open to this one.
I can take this one.
Yeah, let's go, Brody.
So there's so many different electives available. Personally, I found my path with my minors and electives this past year in third year. I'm minoring in sustainability and innovation. Innovation is quite new at McMaster. It just started about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it's comprised of business and engineering type courses that are just based on marketing, lean startups, persuasion, and pitching skills. Very, very interesting. And different electives offered specifically within commerce there's such a range of different ones. I've taken courses like sustainability, corporations, and society. I've taken a course on philanthropy and leadership, and I've also taken a course in electronic marketing. So there's so many different courses that you can really differentiate your interests and develop them further.
That's
I also
amazing.
wanted to touch on kind of my story in terms of finding my minor. So I took 1HA3 and 1HB3, which are both geography classes that you could take as an elective coming into first year. And at the end of both classes, they mentioned something called geographic information systems. And I heard it and I'm like, it's basically a system in which you create maps based off of like primary data that you find. And I thought that maybe that would work really well with marketing, which is kind of the stream I'm going into, due to the fact that I can basically find primary research on like markets and stuff like that. So then I already took many like electives in my first year that already matched it. So then by my second year, I realized that I only had like 4 more classes left before getting my minor. So that's kind of where I am. And now I'm going into my 4th year and I only have 2 more classes left.
So are you doing a minor as well, Max?
Yeah, in geographic information systems.
That is so cool. My apologies, I didn't catch that there. Now, so other than Brody and Max, is anyone else doing a minor on the panel here?
So I completed a minor in economics when I started. So similar to how Max said, like he already had 4 courses over there. When I did it, my mandatory courses had 5 out of 8 courses that were already done. So I just had to take 3 additional courses. And now if there's like something that you're interested in, what the school has is something called a personal interest course, which is called a PIC. So if you're really interested in some topic that you want to explore, or something that you've always been curious about, you can take that course and see how it is. And then you could also mark it as your personal interest course so that it does not affect your GPA.
Yeah, really, really good opportunity to take something that's maybe a little bit outside of your comfort zone. For myself, I can actually touch on that because I just finished one, but I actually took a music course. For those that might know me, not very good in music. It's something I've always wanted to explore, but never really had the opportunity to. And so by actually using one of the personal interest courses, I was able to take that, really enjoyed it. And again, didn't have to worry about it actually affecting my GPA, which was really, really useful. Amazing. Now, another question is, I'm nervous about making friends. How can I get involved?
I can start off with this one. So the thing about everybody coming in is usually everybody's nervous because it's a new environment. So everybody's trying to make friends and get settled in. So everybody's super open. I remember coming during welcome week and seeing people just as lost as I was, did not know where the buildings are, did not know what upper years were talking about when they were saying 3-syllable words. And it's like, what is this? Am I going to ever learn? And before the start of second semester, I was like, oh yes, I know where DSB is. I know where BSB is. So you get used to it, definitely. In terms of how you can get involved, there's several clubs and activities that you can actually join that McMaster has, whether they be DeGroote or they be just like McMaster wide. So if you're musically inclined, you are really passionate about music, there's a ukulele club, there's a guitar club. If you want something more to do with Model UN, if you did that in high school, there's still that. As Rita mentioned, that there's DECA as well that you could do. If you want to focus on something like a finance association, DeGroote has their own finance association. The Women in Business, the Marketing Association. I personally was part of the Accounting Association for my whole time at McMaster. There's other like the Investment Council and so many more clubs that DeGroote has, including DeGroote Green and DeGroote Impact, which are more so societies, and they
We look like we might be losing Aniqua here, but I think I can kind of continue and then kind of speak for her just to say that.
Responsible.
Okay, there we go. I don't know. Aniqua, you might be back. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
But I can kind of finish quickly. I think what she was saying there, hopefully maybe the internet connection might fix itself. But there are so many different opportunities. And I think all of us here, especially on this panel, have all been a part of so many different unique things that's why you always hear us students say there's no one right way to navigate your undergraduate experience. My path is very different than Diana's. My path is very different than Liam's. And that's really what we take pride in, because none of our paths are the same, but we all come up with so many very valuable pieces with our undergraduate experience. So thank you, Aniqua. I hope you're back. We'll obviously continue forward here though. So the next question I have here is, I don't know if I want to commute or live in campus being residents. What is better? Maybe we can have a commuter and someone who lived in residence to speak on this.
Right, so I've been commuting since my first year and I'm going into my third now. I commute from Mississauga, Ontario. The great thing I like about commuting is that like the city has really thought about this and has thought about commuting to university. So there is a direct GO bus that I take. It takes me 35 minutes to get to McMaster during the rush hour time periods. So it wasn't a big headache as I thought it was going to be. Oftentimes when I do tell people, they kind of look at me like I have two heads. They're just like, oh, how do you commute? It really is not that hard. So if you do want to live at home like I did, it is definitely doable. I know that people also commute from Brampton. They commute from all over the place. McMaster, the great thing about it is that it's a perfect split between the people who actually live in Hamilton and commuters. It is actually a very big commuter school. So it's not, you're not going to be left out necessarily. We do have people representing commuters. They're called green suits at McMaster, and they do help guide first year students in these kind of questions and still make sure that they're incorporated into the whole McMaster campus experience.
So going off what Rita said, I'm actually one of the co-planners of Green Suits this year, leading into Welcome Week, which is where you will find all of our representatives of DeGroote made up of commuters, off-campus students, and students that have just finished their first year in residence. Personally, I
was in residence. I'm from Toronto, so commuting wasn't really an option for me. An hour to Hamilton every day and back. I loved my experience in residence, being on campus 24/7, really learning about the buildings, finding my favorite study spots for early study sessions, late night study sessions, studying in the gym and then going straight to work out and then back to residence, and the whole experience of just traveling around campus. It really makes you feel like you're safe and you're home. So I loved living in residence.
So I'll
And
just jump in and add into Brody's point. So I was an off-campus orientation rep. So instead of being in green suits, I was wearing an orange jumpsuit. And essentially, we welcome just anybody who does not live on campus, because as a first year, you feel like you might be missing out on that experience. So we want to ensure that you do not miss out on any experience. You still have a supportable community that you can always rely on. So whether you be commuting or you be just living right off campus in Hamilton near the university, we're always there to support you and like guide you during welcome week. You would find us in orange suits.
and Rita, I'll quickly just ask you, because you have one of the experiences of commuting. Did you find that it was difficult to find things you can get involved in being a commuter? Were you able to find those clubs you wanted to join and things like that?
Quite honestly, it was at first very daunting because it is a very large community going into university as opposed to high school. However, I really did feel that DeGroote made it their mission to make sure that every single person is involved. So as soon as I looked for opportunities to get involved, I would surely find them. And if I couldn't, there were so many people that I could lean back on and just like ask for guidance on like where to go, because there are such countless amounts of clubs that you can't even like fathom how much you want to get involved. And I feel like there were people to help me through that.
I'd just
Amazing.
like to jump in right now and just say that I was also a commuter and I found it was very hard to get involved. But when I was in DSB, just minding my own business, I saw an FYO table. So they approached me and I was like, I didn't know about FYO. I'm just in first year trying to find my classes. And they said, would you like a mentor? So I was like, you know what? Sure. Like I'll have a mentor. And honestly, FYO really changed my first year experience because having this mentor, like I didn't really like make any like friends very fast in first year. I didn't really go to my welcome week. So having this mentor really helped me get involved. She's the one who introduced me to all these clubs, all these upper years. That's how I actually got involved in green suits. And ever since then, I've found my way on how to like make more friends, make connections, get involved in more things. But that first step of having a mentor, having some upper year try and help you like find what you're good at, like be there for you to talk to, like so it's not just your parents trying to give you university advice. Like it was really like university changing for me. So I highly recommend joining FYO.
And I'll actually quickly shout out, we have one of our FYO co-planners with us here today, being Max. So Max is actually one of the people that will be helping facilitate that program for all of you students, hopefully coming to McMaster in the fall. I have another question here, and maybe Diane, I believe you lived in residence, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So maybe you can explain maybe a little bit of how the meal plan actually works. How does that work when you live on campus? Are there many options that you can eat at?
Yeah, so the meal plan is essentially a card that you use to buy any food or anything that you need on campus. You can use it at any food location that is available on campus to you. There's also some additional places like Booster Juice, Starbucks, which you can also use your student card in. So you don't necessarily have to worry about spending money on your debit card or having to carry around your debit card with you everywhere, because your meal card is just as accessible. And you can also see how much money you have left after every transaction that you go to. So you can kind of track how much you're spending, what you're spending your money on. And if you're worried about running out of your meal plan at the end of the year, I don't think I've really heard of anyone running out of their meal plan. So it's not something you have to worry about during first year, but you're totally able to track that as well. And it's just a really easy resource to have. And even if you're having like a late night study and you want to grab a snack, you just grab your meal plan, go get yourself some Oreos so you can keep up the grind. And yeah, it's just really there to keep you fed throughout first year.
Perfect. Thank you. Another quick question here, and we'll wrap it up after this one here. But how should I prepare after accepting my offer and before coming to campus to start school? Maybe anyone can answer this one. How did you prepare for the fall term?
I would say the biggest thing for preparing for the fall term is joining your Facebook group, Class of 2024, so that you can meet your classmates and reach out to upper year students like green suits and mentors who will be in those group chats and on those group pages answering any questions. So that is definitely one piece of advice.
I would like to back off, Brody, or back on your point, Brody. When I came into my first year, I honestly was so nervous. I think some of you guys watching this might be pretty nervous as well. But I just want to say everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is equally as nervous. So if you have any questions, please reach out to anyone for any advice heading into your fall term. I know I was not proactive at all. And I found my first week to be extremely overwhelming. And that all could have been avoided with some easy reach out, some easy questions. So please, please, please make sure that you're good to go on that first week.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
Yeah, to kind of add on to that, I was actually very nervous about just entering university, entering residence as well. So I actually reached out to the girl that lived in my room before first year because I was really worried about what residence was like, what the room was like. I was in Matthews Hall and I didn't really know if I was going to be able to adjust to the communal bathroom and having a roommate without really having my own private room. And at first I was a little hesitant to reach out to them because I didn't know them personally. I wasn't connected with them through friends or anything. It was more like a social media find that I came across. And she was actually super helpful. And to this day, she's actually in commerce. Turns out that she's a year older, and now we're able to be greenses together. So she's someone that I definitely stayed in touch with throughout my 2 years of university so far. So even if you're hesitant, even if you're scared, I really encourage you to reach out to whoever you think will help you feel more comfortable to the transition, whether it be a resident, a friend. It could be someone that isn't in the same program even that you know is at McMaster already, someone that will just guide you to make you feel comfortable and not be so overwhelmed during your first week, even your first semester, and it'll really make a difference.
Thank you so much. Those are all really good tips. I wish I had known when I went into first year. So we have another new question, which amazing, keep it asking away, people. But it is, what is it like to work and study at the same time? So maybe was there someone who had to do a part-time
Yeah,
job while taking their studies, and they could answer this for us?
I can answer this question. I actually worked 2 jobs in first year, and it was a lot. I found that like I worked like all the weekends and then I did school during the week, and I just felt like I didn't really have a lot of time to like make friends and like socialize. So in second year, I quit one of my jobs. So I do still work one of my jobs throughout university, and I find that is very manageable. So if you want to have a part-time job during university, I figured that if you work around 15 hours a week, like 2 shifts a week, you still have time to hang out with friends, do your homework, and still attend all your classes. So it's 100% manageable. And another option is you can grab a job on campus. And I know that their hours are very flexible, and you can probably study while you work if you can find a job like that. But 100% you're able to work and do university.
Yeah, I'll just go piggyback off Julia's point because she mentioned this. So I've had a couple of on-campus jobs. So there's a place called Union Market where you can get your groceries or like just like grab some snacks as well as the campus store. So I worked part-time on both those locations. And this was all while studying. So again, they know that you're a student. They're super flexible with your schedule. If you have an exam, you can easily just like put that into your schedule and they'll make sure that they don't book you. If you have a last minute emergency, for example, like a group meeting or you need to go somewhere, you could always like try and tell your manager and they can help you switch your shifts just so that you're not overwhelmed by just coming into work and not performing to your best. So they're super catering to what you need, and they're super comfortable with making sure that you are comfortable. So that is really good, as well as like I was also a TA, so even my TA hours were aligned so that I do not have to miss my own class. So when you apply to be a TA, you need to ensure that you have enough enough availability that you can take that task on, as well as during my internship, I did end up taking one of the courses, but that was during evening time. So what happened is from morning 9 to 5, I used to work on my internship, and then around 6:30, I used to come for a night class and then do that till 9:30.
Master multitasker. That's what I'm hearing from both of you guys here. So well done.
Time management, that's the key.
You learn it, right? It's very true. So one of the other questions we have here is, what are common pitfalls for first-year students? So I can kind of speak to the first one here. I'll maybe give the panel a chance to speak. But you don't have a constant pressure of knowing when your assignments are being due. So you really have to take your own initiative to make sure that you're handing in your papers and on time, making sure you're completing your quizzes. Because again, you don't have a teacher every day essentially telling you, okay, next week this is due and make sure you stay on top of it. So you really got to make sure, and it goes back to time management, that you're completing all of your work kind of in a timely manner, trying to keep up with it, doing your readings so that you're not falling behind throughout the term. Anyone else, if you have any pitfalls?
Another pitfall that I think affects most people is definitely keeping up with your nutrition. It's really easy to walk over to Starbucks, get a Frappuccino, or go get chicken fingers and fries because it's the fastest thing. But what's amazing about Mac and their food options is that both Centro and La Piazza, which is in the Student Center, those two eateries both have salad and fruit bars available all the time. So you can easily, get your nutrients in with that if you're craving something a little bit more unhealthy. And they are starting to introduce a lot more nutritious and healthy options.
Amazing. Anyone else?
Yeah, just going off of what you said, Joel, accountability is actually such a big aspect of a university lifestyle, because no one's going to tell you that, oh, you skipped class, and no one's going to tell you that, oh, you didn't hand this assignment in on time. But it's very important from the moment that you get in, you are accountable for everything that you do. It is going to be a very big adjustment from high school, where you are constantly reminded that you have a test and that you have to go to class. But it's the same thing at university. You do have to go to lectures. It is very, very insightful. Even knowing that it's going to be big class sizes, you do often enough learn things in lecture than that you won't learn while studying, like just utilizing books. So it's really important to be accountable for everything that you do and have that balance, as Brody said, between your nutrition, having a healthy lifestyle, even putting in like a social out gathering with like your friends and whatnot, just to have that university balance is what's going to be the key to having a great university experience.
Amazing. I definitely think that, and I completely agree with everything all of you guys have said today. It's definitely about accountability and making sure that you're staying on top of the work. I felt that I fell behind when I was procrastinating, and I really learned in my first year, and maybe you guys can agree with this as well, but you really learn the times and the peaks throughout the day that you work best. So I encourage you guys that when you come to university, that, if you know that you're a morning person, then leave your mornings open to do your work, because that's going to be the time that you're most useful. And on the contrary, if you're a night owl and you like staying up late because that's when you get a lot of work done, then use that time and really kind of schedule yourself around that for sure. So we're going to finish up here with one last question. So we can actually have each member of our panel kind of go through this here. But what is the best part of DeGroote, or do you have a favorite memory you could share with us? Anyone is welcome to start off this.
I can start us off. My favorite memory is really just getting that feeling of being involved. In my first year, I was not a part of any clubs. I was not necessarily involved that much, but I stumbled across a couple of great programs, and I don't think I need to repeat them. We said it earlier in this talk. There's literally anything you want to join, whether that's marketing, music. There's literally anything. And then once you sort of find your community, your network almost explodes. You start meeting people left and right, and that's definitely my best experience, is just meeting those first initial people getting involved.
I wanted to piggyback off of what Liam was saying, and basically saying what DeGroote has offered me is that it's never too late. So basically saying that I didn't actually start getting involved into anything until basically mid my third year. So now I'm a part of so many different committees, and I'm actually like getting involved and like learning and networking. And I found my internships based off of me networking this far, right? So don't ever feel like because you're in second year or you're even in third year that you haven't done anything, that you'll never be able to like succeed, because like Joel said earlier, everybody has their own paths. And what I will always remember from DeGroote is basically it showing me that I can find my path despite anything that I go through.
Yeah, to add on to both of those experiences, my favorite part of DeGroote is just how supportive everyone is. Student to student, everyone is just there to support you. Everyone wants to see you succeed academically, socially. They want to see you happy and smiling day to day. Even professors, TAs, when you're walking around campus, everyone, they may not recognize you or know you personally, but they give a smile. And that's something that makes DeGroote really feel like a community every day. Even stepping into the DeGroote School of Business building, you see everyone there, you see people chatting, and it's just really that community feeling and knowing that you're not alone throughout the 4 or 5 years of your undergrad. And it's kind of just a daily reminder that if you ever need someone to talk to, just regarding anything, it could be grades, academics, extracurriculars, there will always someone be there, and someone so close that they may be just a phone call away, or just there to help. And I think that's my favorite part, because throughout my struggles in my past 2 years, I've never felt like I didn't have someone to back me.
Diana, I am getting emotional with those words. You took them right from the heart. Oh my goodness. Just like, I actually have tears in my eyes. The community at DeGroote is absolutely incredible. Like Diana was saying, everybody is so supportive. We want to help each other exceed. There's no stepping on each other's toes. There's no competition unless it's healthy. The only person you're competing with is yourself to really better yourself. And there's so many people between staff, students, professors, TAs, leaders, mentors that are willing to help you out. And it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and just like what you said, Brody, like it was very emotional because just this morning I had a flashback on my Snapchat, those familiar with Snapchat, and May at Mac was actually May 12th of 2 years ago. So that's when I was there. Obviously differently, unfortunately we have to do it this way this year, but I was at May at Mac 2 years ago, and I remember going in with the mindset that I'm going to go into accounting, and I really wanted to work for PwC. So this past year, I actually did lock in an internship with them, and just like thinking about like how I got here, all I think about is DeGroote and how every single person I've met along the way has made me to be such a strong, independent woman. And I could not have become the woman that I am today if it were not for my DeGroote community. So sincerely, from the heart, the 2 years that I have left, I'm going to make it my mission to get involved as much as I can and just to make long-lasting connections, because genuinely that has been the highlight of my university experience, is those connections, and is those everyone's so heartfelt here, because it genuinely is a second home at DeGroote, and that's like something that I will forever speak on.
It's a family. We're a family.
It really is.
Amazing.
I'll
And Nico
speak
or Julia,
next.
let's hear from it.
Yeah.
So
So my favorite part of DeGroote is how the professors are amazing. So you like to hear that, oh, you're just a number in university and the professors won't know your name. Like, that is not true. If you go talk to any professor, they would love to get to know you, love to get to know your name, love to help you out. Like, I have made so many great connections with my professors, and I just can't believe how nice they are, especially because they have that rep of professors you can't talk to your professors in university, which is not true. The group professors are all amazing, and I love that they're so approachable, and they're awesome.
So for my memory, I think it's really the time that I've spent with my friends. Like everybody here is talking about a community. I'm thinking more so my friends, just like within that community. Of course, there's the whole DeGroote community, but it's like those late nights when you're studying to submit an assignment, or when you're working because you have a 9 a.m. midterm the next day. So it's all of those times where you realize that you're not the only one. You have so many different people helping you. And sometimes it's just like, oh, you just call up your friend, then you just go grab pizza, you go grab frozen yogurt, and just like a way to relax. I think those are like my favorite memories, including like Hamilton has different waterfalls. So just going and visiting those can be really calming and can really help you like just de-stress and take the day off. So I really like those as my experiences. And I know like I won't be able to see much of the class of 2024 as I've graduated, but definitely if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you guys out.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to finish with mine because my best part of DeGroote, as I'm also graduated like Aniqua here, was actually the unforeseen things that I didn't know was going to happen in my undergraduate experience. One of them being the traveling. I really didn't know I was going to get to travel as much as I got to through my undergrad. I actually got to go on a trip with Liam just a couple months ago to do a case competition. And these are the types of things that I never saw that was going to happen. That obviously did. And those are some of the best memories that I'm going to be keeping with me forever. So with that, I just say keep your options open and be open-minded to everything that comes to you, because you never know what opportunities you might get. You might never know even what route you're going to end up going into. I thought I was entirely finance focused when I came into university, and I ended up just doing a general area of focus because I enjoyed entrepreneurship. I enjoyed marketing. I enjoyed business strategy. I enjoyed so many different pieces that I didn't want to just stay in one. And that's totally okay. And on the contrary, it's okay to just pick one. So stay open-minded and enjoy whatever experience comes your way. But with that, we are going to conclude for today. So thank you to the panel that is here with us, but also thank you to all of our viewers watching. We are absolutely going to be here kind of throughout the next few weeks to do one-on-one chats with you. So absolutely please follow up. Please request to talk to us as students. We have so many different experiences between us and the hundreds of other students that want to share their experiences with you. And we hope to see you in the fall. So thank you so much. And we hope to see you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.